Atomic Habit. It sounds like the blueprint for success. Here is my story. I saw a video about atomic habits. I got curious and picked up the book. Inside, I found these tempting ideas. The 2-minute rule, habit stacking, 1% improvement every day. At this time, my business was struggling. I wasn't consistent. I was procrastinating. And I thought this book,
Atomic Habits, James Clear.
Atomic Habits by 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 James Clear.
Talk now about Atomic Habits.
would fix everything. Building habits, taking tasks, following this system would get me into the zone. That it would lead me straight to huge success in my business. But I was wrong. One morning my daily task notification rang, and suddenly it hit me. It had been 2 months, 2 months of being consistent, 2 months of following Atomic Habits rules, and my business hadn't moved an inch. I realized one thing. Entrepreneurs today, and honestly the entire modern work culture, are falling into the same trap. This fake productivity trap, where we confuse business with productivity. We optimize the wrong thing. We feel good checking off tiny wins, but those wins don't build real business. In this period of time, I wasn't building anything risky or meaningful. I didn't even have the space to think anymore. In this video, I'm going to break down 7 most popular frameworks from the Atomic Habit and show you why they're not just wrong for entrepreneurs, they'll keep you broke and stuck. I will expose every single one of them, and more importantly, I'll show you what actually works. No fluff. If you want to play at the highest level, just stick to the end. The 2-minute rule. It's simple. The book says to start just for 2 minutes. It could be reading a book, researching a product that you want to add to your Shopify store. It acts like a mechanical starter. Once you start something, your brain naturally wants to keep doing. When I was struggling with my business, this rule got me excited. I had a very specific problem, finding potential clients to email. So I decided to give the 2-minute rule a shot. Every morning, I gave myself just 2 minutes to find a potential client. No emailing, just finding them. And guess what? It worked. 2 minutes turned into 10, then 20, then 30, then a full hour. But after a few weeks of doing this, I realized I had a big problem. I wasn't finishing the hard stuff. I wasn't reaching out effectively. If you are an entrepreneur, you know this. For most of the business and high achievers, the barrier isn't beginning. We already know how to start. We have done that. That's why we're here. But starting is not enough. That's the harsh truth that Atomic Habits doesn't tell you about. I learned this the hard way, and I made my own framework, something that actually works for entrepreneurs. I call it the Hemingway Prison Method. Hemingway, one of the greatest writers, he used to lock himself in a room for a fixed time block, a prison block. I took inspiration from it. You need to do the same. The ideal prison block is at least 3 hours. That's when the mind enters the deep work mode. Here is how to use the Hemingway Prison Method in just 3 steps. Number 1. Select your prison block, a fixed time. For example, 3 hours. Number 2. Enjoy boredom. Yes, embrace it. Let your mind starve. Number 3. Enter the tunnel of deep work. Let's say you're building a sales funnel. Just apply the Hemingway prison method. Lock yourself in for 3 hours. No tools, just your brain and a blank doc. Listen to me. I have used this method and let me tell you, the results were super dramatic. You'll feel like nothing is coming. No new idea, no progress. That's the wall. And once you hit that wall, if you stay just 3 hours, you will enter the tunnel of deep work. Now let's talk about the next rule, habit stacking. It says first you identify an existing habit, then you attach a new habit to it, creating a chain reaction, a current habit plus a new habit. That's your habit stack. But this isn't a fantasy world. In the real world of entrepreneurship, sometimes you're awake all night fixing a website bug. When I first tried habit stacking, I built a 5-habit chain. Wake up at 5:30, drink a glass of water, do push-ups, check email responses, write and send marketing pitches. Yes, it worked, but for a few days. Then one night a client needed urgent work. I worked the whole night, delivered the project by 5 a.m. and crashed. When I woke up, I felt completely lost. That anchor habit of waking up at 5:30 and drinking water was gone. And with it, the rest of the stack collapsed. That's a core flaw. When the anchor breaks, the entire stack collapses. No anchor habit is equal to no stack. Habit stacking assumes your life is predictable and your mornings are quite consistent like a Disney movie. Habit stacking is a very weak system, never built for professionals. So let me tell you what worked for me. I call it the Lego Tower framework. Here's the game plan. Step 1. Find your Lego pieces. Think, what are 2 to 3 stable blocks that happen almost every day, no matter what? These are your piece Lego blocks. For a SaaS founder or an agency owner, this might be checking your Stripe or revenue dashboard, your first team meeting, a sales call. Step 2. Attach the high ROI Lego pieces. For example, after checking Stripe, this is your one of the high ROI Lego block. You attach another one. Maybe record one growth insight as a tweet thread. Then maybe after a sales call, build a mini offer asset. Make a list of the high ROI Lego pieces and attach with your creativity. If you miss a block in the middle of the day, your whole Lego tower won't collapse. You can add another ROI Lego piece instead. They always survive. That's why the Lego Tower framework is made for entrepreneurs. Now let's move on to another core theme from Atomic Habits. The 4 laws of behavior change. The whole book is built around this loop idea. Cue, craving, response, and reward. The book explains that if you want to build a good habit, you have to follow this loop. If you want to break a bad habit, you just invert it. I was hooked by the idea of instant rewards, so I tested it on the part of my business I hated the most, cold outreach. Here's the habit loop I set up. The cue: open Gmail, craving, the desire to feel productive, and of course make money. The response would be send 10 cold emails to potential clients, and the reward: check off a green box on my Notion CRM dashboard, plus treat myself to a can of Red Bull. The dopamine hit from ticking that box and sipping my favorite drink after doing something painful felt amazing. I kept going for a month. Cold outrage felt less scary. But then, something changed. The craving shifted. I wasn't chasing deals anymore, just the dopamine. That's when I realized this is a productivity trap. No deep work, no risks, just ticking boxes and chasing rewards. Because here is the truth. Real business needs long-term effort, no instant reward. Many tasks require long-term effort and have delayed rewards. Also, not everything fits into a 4-step loop because real life, it's not a neat cycle. And human behavior is too complex to be reduced to cue, craving, response, reward. This law works well in theory, but in real world of business, they break down very fast. Now, this is probably the most popular idea that Atomic Habits popularized. The concept of aggregation of marginal gains, aka the idea that 1% improvement can lead to massive success. The story that made this concept famous is Sir Dave Brailsford and the British cycling team. Brailsford focused on 1% upgrades, better sleep, lighter bikes, smarter nutrition. Each improvement looked meaningless, but then stacked together, they built a world-dominating machine. 1% improvement daily is equal to 37x in a year. This is compound interest, but for habits. It works, but only in certain worlds. In the fields of startups, software, deep tech, or leadership, this rule breaks because 1% better doesn't close the gap. Tiny improvements don't buy you time. In a fast-moving market, you don't need steady progress. In a real business, you need giant asymmetrical breakthroughs. So, what's the fix? You just need a reset. I call it hunger fasting. It's inspired by Howard Hughes. At one point, he was burning cash and losing vision. He hit a wall, so what he did? Locked himself inside a dark screening room. No food, no visitors, just water. He was clearing the voice so he could finally hear himself again. And that's the same problem so many modern entrepreneurs face today. They think they are moving forward, but actually they are just busy, maybe making that 1% improvement. Here is the solution. Take one day, go to a quiet, closed phase, and bring 3 things: a notebook, a pen, and water. No food, no phone, no screens, no people, just water. Starve yourself. Right now, your brain is full of snack dopamine, pinged by screens, drowning in micro decisions, stuck in low leverage work. But under survival mode, your prefrontal cortex sharpens. You see things clearly. You remember what the hell you're actually doing or building. This isn't a hack. It's a prescription. I promise you, this one day of fasting can give you 1 year of clarity. Now let's talk about another super popular idea. It's called the seesaw effect. The rule is simple. Reduce the friction for good habits and increase the friction for bad habits. In practice, that means if you want to read more, leave a book on your pillow. Want to waste less time on Instagram? Delete the app. Make good habits easy, make bad habits hard. But let's break this down in the real world of business. This theory collapses very fast because here is the truth. A motivated human always finds a workaround. If an entrepreneur wants to waste time, Deleting Instagram won't stop them. They will just open it on their browser. You can raise the friction all you want, but they'll find the path every time. You don't need gentle nudges. You need that heat to ignite your action. I tried all the hacks, putting my journal beside my bed. Entrepreneurs don't need a lowered friction. We need emotional triggers, pressure, fire. That's what drives us. The seesaw effect is cute, but when you are building something real, you need heat. You need the volcano eruption. One big problem with Atomic Habit is that in one of its chapters, it introduced the idea that hard work silently accumulates and eventually produce a breakthrough. I would say it's a very inspiring story, but it's not a real strategic or scientific model. Let me explain why. First, effort does not guarantee payoff. Second, persistence can lead to dead ends if your business strategy is broken. Third, patience is great, but blind patience is a liability, not an asset. In high-level competition, where everyone's innovating, moving fast, simply waiting for a breakthrough without aggressively refining your product is a recipe for failure. But I missed one major topic in this video. It's called the winner effect. I break that down in a separate video. Watch it next, and I'll see you there.